Geometry, Introduction to Circles. So this is going to have a lot of terminology. Hopefully it's things that you're already familiar with, but if you're not, some things that you want to make some notes on. A circle is a set of points in a plane that are a fixed distance from a given point. So if I have a given point, okay, say I've got a point here, then basically what makes a circle is a set of points around that point that are all the same distance away, right? So if we said, hey, they all have to be 5 away from that center point, there's 5, that's 5, that's 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, and I kept, adding points to that list, okay, an infinite number of points, okay, what I would end up creating over a period of time is a circle where all of the points on that outside edge are the exact same distance from that center point as all the other points. Granted, that's a really poor illustration, but that's effectively what makes a circle, where all those outside points have the same linear distance between themselves and the center of the circle. Okay? Our labeling for a circle is going to be a circle with a dot in the middle. Okay, that's the label for it. So that's read as circle A. Okay, so the main point to a circle is knowing where the center is. That's our label for it. Okay, all the points within the circle are called interior of the circle. Obviously, all points outside of a circle are exterior. Hopefully everybody knows what a radius is, but a radius is any segment whose endpoints are the center of the circle and a point on the circle. Okay, any segment with both endpoints on the circle that passes through the center is called a diameter. That's the main difference between, later on when we get more into circles, we'll talk about chord segments. Okay, a chord has its endpoints on the circle, but not necessarily through the center. So a diameter is a chord. Not all chords are diameters. Yeah. In order to find circumference, yes, you can use pi times diameter to find circumference, but most of the time they're going to end up giving you a radius, and so we use 2 pi r to find circumference. And you bring up a good subject, which is circumference and area, is that we will struggle all year to keep straight, not we, you guys will struggle all year to keep straight if you don't get this. The difference between the formula for circumference of a circle and the area of a circle, right? I have been surprised over the years how hard it is for students to keep those two things separate, okay? So since we're addressing it here, area is always in units squared, correct? All right, so area of a circle is pi r squared. Okay? Circumference is 2 pi r. What makes it hard for people is that both include pi r and a 2, right? It's knowing where that 2 goes. But if you can remember that area is something squared, then area is going to be pi r squared. You follow me? So circumference is exactly perimeter. Circumference is the distance around a circle. It is the perimeter of the circle. So two circles will always be congruent to each other if they have the same radii or radius. Okay, that'll make them congruent. Okay. As we've seen in lesson 8, the sum of the side lengths of a circle of a closed figure is called the perimeter. Let's go ahead and fix some typos while we're in here. The perimeter of a circle is the distance around the circle. It's called circumference. Okay, so the circumference and perimeter are asking the same thing. So if it says what is the perimeter of the circle, they're asking for circumference. Our formula is 2 pi r. Okay. So there we see our formula here based upon our picture. Keep in mind, like Michael was bringing up, if this is the center of my circle, my radius will be this line. Okay? So, but just to forewarn you, let's say that if they have a line all the way across, Okay, they got the little center there, and they say 10. They're referring to the diameter. Okay, just because they've put it to one side doesn't mean that, okay, only half of this, so the radius is 10. If they've drawn a line all the way across, doesn't matter where they put that number in relation to that line, they're referring to the diameter. Okay, I don't really like that. What I wish that they would do is, if they're going to refer to the diameter, at least put the number in the middle or something to that effect. But if you ever look at a math question, whether it's on a test or your homework, and you can't tell based upon the picture whether or not they're talking about the diameter or the radius, get a hold of me, raise your hand, email me, send me a picture. I'll try to tell you, okay? Don't miss stuff because of that. All right, so I didn't write it up here the way that it would look, but it should be 2 pi r for my circumference. Okay? I by far prefer 2 pi r to pi times diameter simply because we can do more things with radius than we can with diameter. We can solve for the area of a circle with radius. We can't solve the area of a circle with diameter. We'll have to break it in half and go back to radius. Okay? When it comes time to find, let's say, volume and surface area of spheres, we're going to need the radius. So you're going to have to be more familiar with the radius than you are the diameter. Okay? Okay. That brings us up to pi. Pi is represented by the symbol that we see up there. It's an irrational number. It's defined as the ratio of the circumference of a circle to its diameter. There are several ways to approximate the value of pi. So usually they will tell you, hey, if you're going to solve this question, use 3.14 for pi. Okay? So whenever they tell you to do that, do that. If they ask you to use a fraction, the fraction that you'll use is 22 over 7. Okay? Go ahead, if you've got a calculator, go ahead and type in 22 divided by 7. Tell me what you get as a decimal, just so you can see why they use 22 over 7. 3.14? Okay, 2. So in actual pi, it's 3.14159, right? So you get that 1, 5. That 5 would round that 1 up to a 2. So you can see where 22 over 7 actually comes pretty close to matching pi to the first 4 digits. After the decimal point, so you can use 22 over 7. There aren't very many instances where they're going to ask you to use the fraction. Usually it's 3.14. You do have a pi symbol in your calculator, so if it ever says to measure it exact, they either mean to solve in terms of pi or to use the pi key. Okay, does that make sense? Does everybody follow me there? Right. I got a couple of guys or 2 or 3 guys without graphing calculators. You guys probably want to take a look at where these are. Okay, where the pi symbol is, because it's not given its own individual button. Okay, so if you look on the right-hand side, and I'll try to pull it up on the screen so somebody can see it in the video. In order to get pi on a graphing calculator, we have to hit the second key and then the caret symbol or the little chevron or arrow. That's going to give me that pi symbol. Okay? All right. Most problems in your book will tell you which approximation to use. It's going to instruct you to leave it will instruct you to leave your answer in terms of pi. So if they ask me to find circumference of a circle in terms of pi, what they mean is that I'm going to leave pi as part of my answer. So if I knew that the radius was, let's say the radius, I don't want that, come on. I don't know. Okay, let's say I knew that the radius was 4, okay, and I wanted the circumference. Well, circumference equals 2 pi r, or in this case 4, right? So I would simplify that to be 8 pi, and that's how I would leave it. Okay, I'm going to leave pi as part of my answer because pi is actually an exact answer. It represents all of pi, so there's no estimation involved when I leave my answer in terms of pi. So if you ever see them on a question using pi, say, give an exact answer, right? They mean in terms of pi. Did the phone just ding like it was going to give an announcement? Okay, I'm just going crazy. Okay. Same thing goes for radius, volume, surface area, involving spheres. Note that given the relationship between radius and diameter, the formula for the circumference of a circle can be expressed as pi times diameter, where d is the diameter. Okay, area of a circle. Okay, I'll rewrite it over here like it should be written. Okay, area equals pi r squared. Okay, it's another way to think of the area of a circle as the area that is swept around by rotating a radius of the circle one full rotation. I don't know if I can do it. So imagine taking this all the way around. And you took that length all the way around that circle. That would give you the area. Okay? Questions? Okay. You have to know those two formulas, circumference and area, and you have to know the difference between them. Okay? I see students all the time get those messed up. Okay? I don't want to see that continue to happen here. Okay? All right. Question number 1 up here. Identify the radii shown in circle W. So it wants to know all the lines that represent the radius. So I'm not super concerned with what the possible answers are. Okay, Michael, give me one radius. WP, he says. Okay, he says WP is a radius to that circle. Jordan, can you give me another radius? WM. Okay, we'll use a different color here. Katie, can you give me another radius? WE. Good. All right, Chandler, can you give me another one? WS. Okay. Now, we do have other chords, but those are the only radii. Okay. You do have chords like PM is a chord, PE is a chord, ES is a chord. SP. What is SP? Can anybody tell me what SP is? It's a diameter. It's a diameter and a chord. So is EM. Is a diameter and a chord. But those four are our only radii. Or radiuses. I don't think they like you to say that though. Okay. So what kind of line is being shown on this circle? Is that a radius or a diameter? It's a diameter, okay? So we will find the circumference of the circle. We want to use 3.14 for pi. Okay, I'm going to let you guys work that out. We have two options here, right? We could either find the radius of it and plug it into the radius formula for circumference, or we can leave it as diameter and solve for the diameter formula. Let's see. What answers did you get? We got 34 times what? Okay, we got 106 point, probably 76, but because it wanted it rounded to the nearest tenth, we round that 7 on up to an 8. Did anybody not get 106.8? Okay, everybody got that. Okay, good. I feel like we can fly through. From circumference, let's look at area. So we need to switch formulas. What's our formula for the area of a circle? Chandler. Pi r squared. Okay. Do I need to use anything else for pi in my equation? 3.14. So I'm going to use 3.14. As our numbers get bigger and we start to deal with larger numbers, that becomes more and more important what we use, because it'll change our answer. If I use pi instead of 3.14, my numbers will naturally be bigger, okay? Because 3.14 stops at 4, but pi goes on forever. So the bigger things I'm multiplying that pi symbol by, the bigger difference there's going to be between 3.14 and the actual pi, okay? Let's see, Jose. What did you get for an answer? Um, do you have it? It's dead, dead. All right. Okay. Can you sit back there with Jordan and look at his screen? Okay. I want you to be able to see. Okay. So what did you get? You got A, 265 point. I think it comes out to like 7696, but once it to the nearest tenth, so we're going to get A for our answer there. Okay, which is 3.14 times 9.2 squared. Okay. Circumference and area. Circumference and area. Let's go ahead and for now, we'll just go ahead and make this our last question, although there are some other good questions in here. Okay, circumference and area. Katie, I want you to give me the circumference, and Marcos, I want you to give me the area. But I want the formula, not just the answer. Okay? So, Katie, can you tell me what formula to use to find the circumference here? 2 pi r. What are you putting in for r, and what are you putting in for pi? Okay, r is 7. Okay. Okay, so 2 times 3.14 times 7. 40 what? 43.96. Okay. We want that rounded to the nearest tenth, so I think that's what that's going to do is it's going to end up pushing everything up. So we get 44. Marcos, tell me about area. What is area? Pi r. Oh yeah, I forgot it's an early out day. Okay, what did you get for your answer there? 153.9 centimeters squared. In centimeters, we'll make sure that we label. All right, very good job. We'll see you guys tomorrow.